Breaking news on ABC 17 News at 10. Mizzou football has just named Barry Odom as its new head coach.
This comes nearly 3 weeks after Gary Pinkel announced he was stepping down for health reasons. ABC 17 sports director Austin Kim joins us now live outside of Memorial Stadium with the latest on the announcement. Austin?
Well, Marissa and Joey, it took a little bit more than a week, but after a lot of speculation, Mizzou Athletic Director Mack Rhoades zeroes in on his man, and that man was the guy who was in-house all along, Barry Odom, who was the defensive coordinator for the Tigers this past season. Now, Odom will sign a 5-year deal, according to the school. We do not know the financial terms of that deal, but he will become the 32nd head football coach in the University of Missouri history. He's the first one since 2000 when Gary Pinkel took this program to new heights. Now, Coach Odom has not been a head coach at the college level. He was a head coach at Rockbridge High School right here in town, but he's never been a head coach at the University of Missouri or anywhere else. But do not discount this fact. He was a linebacker for the Tigers from 1996 to 1999, so he knows how this program was, which was not very good in the 90s. Gary Pinkel took it to new heights. Now it'll be Odom's responsibility to get that next step for Missouri. Now, Barry Odom did release a statement through the football program today, and here's part of that statement. He said, quote, "I understand the responsibility we have to not only carry on the tradition of excellence that Gary Pinkel has built here, but also to help this program reach new heights. Mizzou means the world to me and to my family, and we couldn't be more proud and excited to be in this position." Now, Mizzou will hold a news conference tomorrow at noon to introduce their new football coach. That is, of course, Barry Odom. We will carry that live right here on KMIZ. And please stay tuned with us. We have plenty more coverage, not just on ABC17news.com, but later on in the show. Andrew Kaufman will have plenty more on the Barry Odom hiring coming up in sports. But for now, reporting outside Memorial Stadium, Austin Kim, ABC 17 News.
Now to more breaking news tonight. Highway Patrol confirms one person was killed in a crash on I-70. Right now, traffic is still moving slow on the interstate. It happened just after 7:30 in the eastbound lanes at mile marker 122. It involved a semi and another car. This right here was the scene about an hour and a half ago. Drivers were asked to avoid the interstate. First responders used the westbound lanes to get to the scene.
And more breaking news. It has been a busy night tonight. A man suspected in a mid-Missouri shooting that left one person injured is now in custody. ABC 17 News just confirmed in the last 15 minutes, 23-year-old Ladae Cowens has been arrested. He was wanted for a shooting on Monday in Fulton. Cowens is accused of shooting 33-year-old Marcus Berry, who's recovering in the hospital. We just checked, and Berry has been upgraded to good condition. The shooting happened on Grand Street early Monday evening. And we're now a day into the investigation of the mass shooting in California. Here in Missouri, though, one lawmaker is proposing legislation that would allow concealed weapons on public university campuses. Right now, they are banned. ABC 17's Daniel Wynn joins us live from our Jefferson City newsroom. And Daniel, you asked the lawmaker why he thinks adding guns to campuses makes sense.
Senator Brian Munzlinger from Northeast Missouri says it just makes no sense to have gun-free zones on campuses where criminals know nobody else is armed. Now, his proposed legislation would still allow for gun-free buildings, but those buildings would be required to have security personnel and metal detectors.
Well, I've always believed a person should have the right to self-defense.
Senator Brian Munzlinger tells me college campuses aren't safe because they're gun-free zones. He says the laws banning guns only tell the bad guys they won't have an easier target.
Unfortunately, in these gun-free zones, as we've seen here, and unfortunately in the past, this is where the terrorists or deranged people tend to strike because they know there are no guns there.
Munzlinger's bill would not affect private institutions and would only apply to state schools.
Criminals don't obey laws. And when you put a law out there restricting firearm ownership or firearms use or, carrying into a government building or whatever, those are laws that law-abiding people follow. Criminals don't.
And I did reach out to MUPD for reaction to this proposed legislation. They tell me it is merely their job to enforce whatever laws the state legislators pass. Live in the Jefferson City newsroom, Daniel Wynn, ABC 17 News.
Well, we have a chilly night out there with our clear sky. Temperatures right now have already dipped down to 31 degrees at Jefferson City, and it's 30 at the Lake of the Ozarks right now, 34 at Fulton, and Mexico at 35 in Boonville. By the time the morning rolls around, we'll see those clear skies and temperatures down close to 30, right around 29 early in the morning tomorrow, making it, though, to 48 by lunchtime. The sun tomorrow, the light southerly winds, going to make for a beautiful afternoon. Feeling nice tomorrow, 53 degrees by afternoon temperatures. Lows tonight, then, dropping down to the upper 20s with a very light southerly breeze, picking up to near 5 miles an hour by morning. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and mild. A little warmer than today, too. We're going to hit 55 tomorrow at the Lake of the Ozarks. Marshall at 54, Moberly 53, and Columbia at 54 degrees tomorrow, as well as Fulton. It'll be a beautiful December day. High pressure is in control of our weather now. It's pushing off to the east, though, and around that high, the southerly winds are going to help warm us up the next couple of days. This next cold front, that approaches this weekend, but not until Sunday. Saturday's the warmer day and the more sunny day of the weekend. But as this comes in, it'll bring some clouds with it. Saturday night and Sunday, most areas will stay dry Sunday, but there is a small chance of a light shower. The better chance is south of Interstate 70, closer to this area of low pressure. That pulls across the area Sunday, and if we do see any rain, it'll be very light and spotty. And most areas, like I said, will just see a lot of clouds. So Sunday will be the cooler day of the weekend with 50 degrees, but overall, we have a very mild and dry weather pattern that persists all the way into next week. But there are some changes coming in for late next week. We'll talk about it in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Sharon. An MU student is suing her professor for racist and sexist comments she says were made during a study session.
The lawsuit claims the senior was subjected to derogatory comments from biology professor Dr. Michael Garcia. ABC 17's Lucas Geiser has been investigating those claims.
He joins us now. And Lucas, you reached out to attorneys on both sides of this.
Yeah, I did, Marissa and Joey. Fatma El Walid transferred to MU last year from Moberly Area Community College. As some background, her attorney says she always felt comfortable going to school here in her hometown, but a day earlier this March changed her perception of her professors. On March 13, 2015, a new lawsuit says Fatma El Walid, then a junior, came to a study session with Dr. Michael Garcia. Her lawsuit claims with 8 other students in attendance, the study session soon changed from cell biology to discussion of 9/11 in the movie American Sniper. Azra Ahmed, an attorney for El Walid, says Dr. Garcia then turned his attention to her.
The conversation just turned into like one insult after another, really derogatory, humiliating comments. For example, he had asked her if she was waterboarded when she was little, and she was just in shock. She just didn't know what to say.
The lawsuit details at least 10 comments made by Garcia, like if, quote, your people hate the gays, and showing her suicide vest to another teacher. Ahmed says the experience traumatized El Walid. The student tried to get out of the class but wasn't allowed to, so her GPA slipped and she lost her community college scholarship, no longer talking to her professors for help in school.
She wants the university to take a stand that such behavior, such prejudice and racism should not be tolerated in a place of higher learning.
Now, the lawsuit claims another student in that class filed an anonymous complaint against Dr. Garcia for those comments before El Walid ever went to administration. I tried confirming if such a report exists. The MU Equity Office says I'd have to work through a school spokesman, and spokesman Christian Basie says he can't talk about any reports related to discipline based on HR rules.
Lucas, thank you. And Dr. Garcia's attorney, Josh Oxenhandler, gave no comment on the lawsuit. University system spokesman John Fougere says they will also not comment on a pending court issue.
Tonight, we have new information in the possible assault charge against a different member of the MU faculty. The Missouri Student Association Senate has passed a resolution calling for the university to reevaluate the actions of Melissa Click. Assistant Professor Melissa Click was caught on camera trying to stop a student journalist from covering the recent MU protest, and the person who shot the video has filed an assault charge for that contact against Click. The assistant professor can also be heard calling for muscle to apparently remove the journalist. The resolution calls for the university and the Department of Communications to address the issue and make a formal statement about it, about Of course, that and other incidents have gotten national attention and have even been referenced in recent episodes of the animated Comedy Central show South Park. The senators, though, say the resolution is not meant to be personal.
She's not an evil person. She's a human being. She was trying to come from a good partner heart, and I think she had the students' interest, but just the way she came about it maybe just rubbed some people wrong.
We're just asking for a statement here. That's about all we're asking for here, because we feel that as a student body we should be asking for the university to comment on all the incidents that happen that involve students on campus.
I talked to Dr. Click this afternoon on the phone, and she told me she wasn't aware of the resolution and politely said she was unable to talk at the moment. The assault complaint has been turned over to the Columbia City prosecutor, and as of late this afternoon, it's still under review.
Just ahead on ABC 17 News at 10, where the news comes first.
Tonight, the state is finally responding to ABC 17's questions about the IBM branch in Columbia.
We'll share the answers with you coming up next.
Tonight, the Missouri Department of Economic Development is responding to 7 questions about the IBM facility in Columbia, more than a month and a half after ABC 17 News asked those questions.
We told you last night a city councilman was calling on the state to be more forthcoming with information about taxpayer money. ABC 17's Jillian Fertig is keeping track of your money tonight. Jillian?
Well, I've been telling you I emailed those questions to the Department of Economic Development back on October 14th. We've been investigating IBM for over a year now for not providing the promised 800 jobs in return for $28 million in tax incentives from the state. And tonight, the state says the company will not have to pay back the money because it was only paid for the jobs it actually created. Following multiple reported rounds of layoffs at the IBM Columbia facility, ABC 17 News started investigating the company over a year ago. After the employment numbers dropped below 400 in October, I asked the Missouri Department of Economic Development 7 questions. The first, how much money has IBM received from the state in tax incentives? DED says up to October 15, 2015, the company has received $12.1 million. Next, I wanted to know if there was a deadline for the company to bring employment numbers above 400 before the contract agreement was null. DED says they must reach 400 new jobs within the year, which would be next October, to maintain eligibility for the training program. After IBM employees told ABC 17 News that some workers reporting to the facility didn't even live in Missouri, I asked the state if it had verified that all employees reporting there physically lived in the state. DED says companies must certify under penalties of perjury that they have read the requirements and that the statements and information contained in the application and attachments are complete, true, and correct to the best of their knowledge and belief. The application must also be notarized. Another question, what is the state going to do if IBM employment numbers continue to drop? DED says if they do not reach the minimum 400 in the next year, their last training project will become permanently deactivated. And again, these answers come after more than 6 weeks of waiting for a response, and one day after a Columbia councilman called on the state to be more forthcoming with IBM data.
Thank you, Jillian. We've posted a response to all of those 7 questions on our website. Just go to abc17news.com.
Well, coming up, I'll have a track of that rain, the very small amounts of rain we could see Sunday. And we'll take a look at the changes in the weather pattern. We're going to stay mild for a little while. I'll show you when those changes occur coming up. Well, welcome back. We have some quiet weather out there, and it looks like we have a long stretch of quiet weather as we head into the weekend and next week with that slight chance of rain, that exception for Sunday. Outside now, though, it's 37 degrees at Joe Monkins BMW. We have our clear sky tonight, and it has dropped to 35 at FFO Home in Sedalia. And by morning, temperatures will be close to 29 degrees, so it'll be pretty cold as you head out the door early and frosty, too, especially on those windshields. Heading into the afternoon, it looks nice tomorrow. The temperatures get warmer than we saw today. We make it into the lower 50s, and we'll have those mild temperatures with light southerly winds under 10 miles an hour, which will make for a nice afternoon tomorrow. So our next change in the weather doesn't come until Sunday, and that's from this cold front, which is sitting out here. Forecast models are not showing a lot with that as it moves in. It doesn't have a lot of cold air, and it doesn't have a lot of moisture, so we're not going to see too much with it except some clouds. This is Saturday evening, and those clouds will increase overnight Saturday into Sunday. There could be a couple of showers develop anytime after 7 in the morning Sunday in our far western counties, and then those will pull across the area during the afternoon. But again, not going to be a lot of rain, under 1/10 of an inch. And you can see those very spotty showers here as they pull, especially south of Interstate 70, a slightly better chance you'll see some rain Sunday. Well, that'll move out, and then we're in for quiet weather next week. In fact, the temperature outlook, you can see these temperatures stay above average. 42 to 45 are the average temperatures through next week. Look how much above average we are. And we could even hit into the low 60s. There's the potential of a stronger storm system coming in at the end of next week and for the weekend. That could bring some storms with it next weekend, followed by much colder air. So we'll be watching the speed of that. Of course, this could change by a day depending on how fast that system comes in. But just wanted you to know that change comes later next weekend. As far as this weekend, it looks good for the Jefferson City Christmas Parade Saturday evening, cool and pleasant. We hope to see you out there for this festive activity. It's going to be a good night Saturday. Sunday, that slight chance rain chance comes in. Yeah, I said that right.
Rain chance. We got it. Thanks, Sharon.
All right.
Well, tonight some organizations are weighing in on how the Syrian refugee crisis is handled in our state.
We'll tell you what they're urging lawmakers to do next. The defense will start calling witnesses to the stand tomorrow in a mid-Missouri murder trial.
The trial for Ricky Harding Jr. will continue in Warren County. He is accused of killing his wife last year in Audrain County. Closing statements are expected tomorrow. Missouri religious leaders are standing up for refugees who want to come to our state. More than 80 organizations signed a letter to legislators urging them to not hinder displaced Syrians from coming into the U.S. Christian, Jewish, Islamic leaders, as well as human rights organizations all signed the letter. Earlier this month, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the American Security Against Foreign Enemies, or SAFE Act. The UN reports more than 4 million refugees are still displaced from Syria.
New legislation was just filed this week that seeks to make bathrooms in public schools for male or female students only. Senate Bill 720 would require all public school restrooms, locker rooms, and shower rooms used by multiple students to be designated for male or female students only. We know it's been a heated issue in our state. You'll remember there was some debate at Hillsborough High School in Jefferson County after a transgender student asked to use the girls' locker room. Students staged walkouts in support of that student. Dozens of new jobs could be coming to mid-Missouri after a company announces its plans to expand its facility in Moberly. Cardinal Health plans to create 50 new jobs over the next 6 years. These full-time positions include jobs like maintenance technicians, machine operators, and material handlers. A hiring event will be held Wednesday, December 9th from 2 in the afternoon till 6 at night. It'll be at the Comfort Inn on West Outer Road in Moberly.
Have you heard? Mizzou has a new football coach.
I've heard, and ABC 17's Andrew Kaufman has the player reaction to it. Next in sports.
Sports Zone starts now. Driven by Toyota.
The wait is finally over for all you Mizzou fans. Barry Odom is the new head football coach of the Missouri Tigers. The school says Odom will sign a 5-year deal. Specifics of the deal will be made at the UN Board of Curators meeting next week. Now, Mizzou will introduce Odom in a news conference tomorrow at noon. We will air that live right here on ABC 17. Now, Odom spent this past season as the defensive coordinator for Mizzou. Odom is also a former player of a true son. And speaking of some true sons, multiple players and coaches took to Twitter tonight to express their excitement for Odom. We'll begin with quarterback Drew Lock. He's appreciative of the past and extremely excited for the future with Coach Odom and this team. How about basketball coach Kim Anderson, who also chimed in, and if anyone knows how Odom must feel right now, it's him. Congrats to new Mizzou football coach Odom. Excited to have you lead the program. How about a former player, Chase Daniel? I've been around him since his time at Mizzou. He's a superstar, and we knew from the very beginning of this search that if it were up to the players, Barry Odom would be the guy, and they got their wish. Now, if Mizzou fans got their wish, the Mizzou volleyball team would play Kansas in the second round of the NCAA tournament, but first, each team needed to win its first round match. Here we go from Lawrence, Kansas. Mizzou and Missouri State playing, and this is the first set here. Missouri State coming out swinging. Lindsey Wright polishes off the first set as the Bears take it 25-21, but then Mizzou got going. Senior Reagan Peltier led the Tigers with 14 kills, and they took the next set, the next one, And the next one after that, Mizzou wins 3-1. Kansas also won today, so tomorrow a renewal of the border war between Kansas and Mizzou, 6:30 p.m. in Lawrence, Kansas. Mizzou basketball now. The Tigers return to Mizzou Arena tomorrow night at 7 p.m. against Northern Illinois. Mizzou undefeated at home, 3-0 after Tuesday night's win over Arkansas State. In the Tigers' first 5 games, they've used on average 11 guys per game. Coach Anderson has said he'd like to eventually cut that rotation to around 9 guys, but so far the extra depth hasn't really hurt the Tigers.
We're a team that's got to have guys step up every night. I mean, it's not like we're gonna say, well, this guy's we know he's gonna average 20 points a game. We don't have that guy.
On to high school now, where Tolton does have that guy, Michael Porter Jr. And Tolton High School is the place to be tonight as the Trailblazers hosted Fatima. Kansas basketball coach Bill Self in attendance to watch Michael Porter Jr. First quarter, it was Porter's brother Jonte making the highlight reel dunk, assisted by Michael Porter Jr. Later, Porter will do it himself. It's just an average dunk, though, for Michael Porter Jr. We're expecting more. Kevin Purdy expecting more, and let's see her Porter, Michael Porter Jr.'s sister, and well, they got it right there. That slam right there. This was all Trailblazers in this one. How about a little Jonte Porter to Michael Porter Jr. for 3? Yeah, he can do it all, folks, as the Blazers win 84-35. Now in Marshall, in the tournament in Marshall, Battle beats Jeff City 49-45 in a close one. The Spartans will face Smith Cotton now in the championship game on Saturday. So Marissa and Joey, just big day of sports.
Yeah, very busy.
Exactly.
Good job handling it all. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks.
And Sharon has your hourly forecast for Friday next.
Well, it's going to be a nice day tomorrow. With a cold morning, we'll end up with a mild afternoon. Highs reaching the lower 50s with a light southerly breeze. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Just a great way to end the work week. Saturday is nice at 56 degrees, mostly sunny. However, the clouds move back in Sunday, and we'll see possibly some rain Sunday. There is a chance we could have a few showers around. Those don't last long. They're out of here by Monday, and it looks like we got mild weather for a little while.
Great weather on Saturday for the parade in Jefferson City.
Definitely, yeah.
Thanks, Sharon.
All right.
Have a great night.
Kimmel's next.
Good night.